Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Courtside Soundoff podcast. Once again, I'm Josh Evanoff, as always, looking by the one and only man of the hour, too sweet to be sour. It is Angel Ortega. A lot of stuff to talk about this week, including news, fight recaps, UFC Vegas 81, UFC 294 fight week coming up as well. But we're just going to go ahead and start off with the biggest news of the weekend. The PRIME Card, Angel, went down Saturday night from the Manchester Arena over across the pond. And, I mean, in regards to the top two fights, kind of fucking sucked, man. What do you mean? So, the top two fights, which were the most hyped ones, I feel like basically everybody agrees that they kind of sucked. But in the main event, man, it was Tommy Fury getting a controversial unanimous decision win over KSI. We said this fight probably wouldn't be close. In the end, KSI's awkward style, he actually made it a close fight. Nearly beat him, man. In fact, I'd argue most people came out of this fight thinking that KSI deserved the nod. Instead, it's Tommy Fury who remains undefeated. Look, the fight wasn't very good. They spent a lot of time basically past the second round doing nothing but clinching. But what do you think, man? What do you think in regards to how did you score the fight? What did you think about the main events? And also, just coming out of the card, overall.
No, I hear you. Well, I mean, we just got to say it. I mean, it was for how much these two guys I guess four guys, we got to include all of them, had this card really built up around them, really hyped up, and we're supposed to have this special moment. It ended in utter disaster because the co-main and main event ended up being a massive fucking failure. And I think in all aspects, all four guys in a way failed. I'm talking even Logan, and even Tommy, who respectively got the nods in there. Well, I guess Logan got the DQ win, right, Josh? But regardless, there was a overall sense of failure. Like they both failed. All sides failed. Because I think coming out of this, Tommy didn't look good because people didn't think he won for one, and JJ didn't look. It's funny. I feel like JJ probably out of all the four probably is gonna get the least crap, but even then he didn't look that good. I'm gonna stay on the main event. I'm not gonna jump to the co-main just yet. I mean, in the fight itself, Josh, I remember by the end of it, I'm like, that's probably as a draw as you can get, and I fucking said it last week. I'm like, 6 rounds, that's scary. That's that's potential for a draw there. We didn't end up getting that. There should have ended up being a fuck up on the scorecards, Josh. You didn't even mention that, but they fucked up on the scorecard. It went from majority decision then to a unanimous decision.
Yeah, correct. It went from majority to a unanimous decision.
Yeah, apparently the UK can't math, but that's besides the point. I thought it was as draw could be, man. I didn't think JJ won. I didn't think Tommy won. And even then, Josh, I was talking to you a little bit about it in the green room. I saw a 20-person thread. And what I mean by 20-person thread isn't just 20 people responding. I mean 20 different, everything professional fighters to influencers who boxed. And I'm talking even world champions who thought JJ, a majority who thought JJ at least got the nod, if not the draw. And I mean, I even told Josh, we're talking about guys like fucking Demetrius Johnson in that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically, I mean, I do think, I mean, how did you come to the conclusion of a draw? I'm curious. Like, how did you score the fight in terms of rounds?
Oh, well, let me see. How would it have been? So it would have been what was it? First round JJ, second round point deduction with the round one, and then after that would have been a Tommy straight.
Yeah.
All the rounds after that, right? That would have ended up making the draw?
Yeah, I believe so. Fair, yeah. I was just curious how you came to that conclusion. Because, same page. I will say that I scored the fight as a win for JJ, but it was a very, it could have gone. It could have gone. I mean, well, I don't think you can make a case for Tommy winning. I think you make a somewhat okay case for KSI winning, especially I thought rounds 1 and 2 were clearly his. I think the judges that gave those rounds to Tommy Fury, I believe one judge gave, I actually have to pull up the scorecards. I apologize. I should have the scorecards pulled up prior, but I do know that there was at least one judge who gave the second round to Tommy Fury, and, that guy's fucking blind. I don't think it's actually that hard of a fight to score. I think rounds 1 and 2, JJ, with the point deduction in the second. 3 through 5 are Tommy, and I thought round 6 was JJ. I thought he was substantially more active At least that's how it appeared. I don't have the CompuBax numbers in front of me that'll tell you the actual statistics of it. But yeah, man, I mean, look, it was a bad fight. And like you said, dude, you said it last week. 6 rounds leaves it open to a draw. And that's kind of the thing. Like, I know that Misfits and Mams Taylor, they've always said, like, 6 rounds is more entertaining, like, I kind of disagree, man. Like, I think not only was this fight bad being 6 rounds, I think if they would have given them 2 more rounds, they would have been forced to separate themselves, They would have had to show some more. And with a fight like this, it's just a very meh result. And coming out of it, it doesn't really feel like we're getting any resolution. Tommy Fury said he has no interest in a rematch, and there is no contractual obligation for him to give KSI one. So it's possible that he'll go ahead and change his mind and say fuck it and choose to rematch KSI. That's far from a set in stone thing, but
I think once he realizes the kind of money he'll get for his other fights, then he'll probably kind of change his mind, because I don't think anybody's going to pay him the kind of money he's probably received for his last 2 bouts against these guys. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Well, it also depends on what he wants to do for his career too. I mean, I could easily see him signing with like Boxer over in the UK, and they have like Sky Sports deals where they can just go ahead and, they can give him like some relatively lower tier, fights. Like they just aren't that big. Maybe they could put him on big cards. They can try and build him up. Like, there is going to be promoters that are going to be interested in Tommy Fury after this. Like, and he's going to get a big deal from regardless, because like he's not very good. But that doesn't matter, Mm-hmm. So I think, in regards to Tommy's future, I think I believe him. I think he might be done with the influencer shit, as he called it. But that's, I mean, his own boxing future. It doesn't,
one thing that I will say I was shocked about. JJ got a lot of praise though.
Yeah.
JJ got a lot of praise from fighters, like I'm talking guys in the UFC, some guys who've just kept up for fighting for multiple years. I haven't seen a couple certain Twitter accounts that I see guys talking all the time, and they follow combat as a whole, and they even thought JJ won that match. One was there was a guy who surprised me who was dying on the sword for it too, Josh, who I will not give any free attention to, but he was on Twitter. He has a decent following. If you know, you know.
Can you type it in the chat?
Yes. Give me 1 sec.
I bet it's somebody. I've seen a lot of people, so I bet it's somebody I'll know. So I just want to see if I'm right about this.
This is how I always recognize him, because I see that specific name.
Oh, okay. I do think I know who you're talking about. Okay.
You probably see him on. He's pretty proactive on Twitter.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, no, I mean, I will say, credit to JJ. I thought they had a alright game plan. He made Tommy uncomfortable. I thought JJ was quicker than Tommy. Mm-hmm. By far, it was very evident. He was definitely annoying the living hell out of him, which I think was an intelligent move. And on top of that, him shutting down Tommy's jab, Josh. I mean, he did in a weird way. He took away one of the best tools any boxer has, mm-hmm. The jab. I think Tommy landed only 12 jabs across the 6 rounds. So, mm-hmm. You break it down, that's 2 jabs per round.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and dude, like, that's why I said Tommy Fury's gonna have such an easy fight. I'm like, dude, like, there's no way. If he took it seriously, and I honestly think a big part of this was that he just didn't take KSI seriously. I think legitimate, and even KSI said as much. He's like, you're sparring guys who are like 0-2, dude. Like, I'm better than that, like, and he proved that. And I think part of it was literally that Tommy Fury didn't take him seriously, because dude, his jab was on point in the Jake fight, and in this one, he just couldn't find a home for it. And honestly, a lot of that was his speed, but it's not exactly like. And honestly, KSI's head movement too. We do got to give some credit to his head movement.
He had some moments. Yeah, he had some moments. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't clean, but he had his moments.
I really thought this was the perfect storm for KSI, dude. I thought it was a perfect storm. It was a perfect night for him to pull off the upset. Like, he had the point deduction in the second round, which I saw some people saying, like, that shouldn't have happened. Like, the referee warned him 2 prior times. Give me a fucking break. Okay, so that was a good point deduction. You've got to penalize the guys if you're going to fucking warn them. What's the point in having fouls and fighting if we're never going to penalize them? You know what I mean? But
I will say, Josh, I will, one thing that I think goes across for the whole card. The referee sucked. They did not know when to break clinching. And I get it. The guys should be allowed to go out of it and all that. But there was moments where I'm like, okay, this is a bit excessive. You as the ref need to step in and actually let him box. So I think there was not just some fault on the fighters, but also the refs they had there, because even in the tag team match, there was a lot of clinch. The Pretty Boy Taylor notoriously did, and all his matches, I feel like he's been allowed to clinch a lot more than he should have.
Yep.
They need to bring in a guy who is going to break that stuff up a lot sooner, because I feel like on a lot of these Misfits matches, a lot of this has happened, and you should. It's part of boxing. You should be allowed to clinch, but you also need to be boxing.
Yeah.
And you should be allowed to box out of the clinch too.
Well, it is exactly what it comes down to, dude. It's boxing judges are terrible because they all have their own little flavor that they're like, you know what? I kind of like clinching, so I'm going to let this guy clinch nonstop. The best example I can give is Jake Paul, like, just because a lot of people, you know, they'll remember this. Jake Paul versus Ben Askren, and literally his next fight versus Tyron Woodley. Ben Askren he's told everybody his strategy beforehand. He's like, I'm going to get in close, I'm going to work the body, I'm going to clinch him. And on that night, whenever he got close to Jake Paul, they were like, hey, well, fucking stop it! Like, fucking get away from him, you know? Like,
you said, it depends on the refs. There's been some refs that are notorious for breaking clinches instantly.
But then you watch, I just give this the best example because a lot of newer fans, and they were back-to-back fights, and then you watch Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley, and half of the fight is spent in the clinch. In this fight, where half the fight is spent in the clinch. And there's other fights where Anthony Taylor, he's allowed to spend all the time in the clinch. But then there are some times when guys are literally, they'll get close, they'll work the body, they'll be working, and they'll separate him. That's the thing about boxing that kind of sucks, you know? Like, actually it really fucking sucks about boxing. And it's always been a complaint that I've had. That being said, I do think we should move on, because we do have a high-profile co-main event as well to discuss. And we also got to talk about the rest of the card, which is also a banger. A lot of really good fights, but nonetheless, dude, in the co-main event, you mentioned it. You got to give Dillon Danis some sort of credit. I mean,
he had it fooled.
He didn't have me fooled. I knew that he couldn't fight, but
no, I knew that too. But I mean, he sold the fight more for you know, the expectations.
I will say this: he did not fool me. He did not fool you, because I think we both knew what he was going to do. But dude, Dillon Danis fooled a lot of the MMA and boxing community that have no idea that this is exactly all he does. He is not a boxer. He's not even a fighter, dude. But he got people excited. He said, you know, a bunch of crazy shit. He said, you know, I'm gonna kill Logan Paul once I get back to Brooklyn or something. I don't know. He said a bunch of weird stuff. But at the core of it, on the fight itself, it kind of sucked. Angel, give me your thoughts, man. Ultimately, it was Logan Paul picking up a disqualification win. If he was not DQ'd, he would have won every round on the cards. You know, it sucked. What did you think?
No, and like I mentioned earlier, dude, another disappointment. Disappointment on Dillon's end, which did surprise me, but it's like, you know, I would have liked to seen something, even if it was a little bit. You know, he could have still played survival, but taken some minor risk. And for Logan, in a way, a disappointment as well, because. And people were giving you shit. It's like, dude, I remember hearing, it was actually from a big podcast I will not mention on this show because I do not want to get in trouble. But where someone said, you know, for Logan, I would have expected more, bro, because if that was my girlfriend or my wife and someone was talking that kind of shit, you know, you would think he would try to get him out of there.
Yeah.
That was like, well, easier said than done for one. Yeah. Also, Dillon didn't open himself up at all. He was playing full survival mode. And I think Logan was being smart because he hadn't boxed in an eternity now. And he didn't want to gas himself out because he's done that before. So, I mean, and in an aspect, I get that. It was kind of disappointing because I thought Logan was actually going to come out of here and try to get Dillon out of there. But even then, he failed at doing that. Drake lost money. Drake curse continues.
Drake, no, it doesn't. What are you talking about?
Dude, he bet on Logan to win via KO, not decision.
No, but stoppage. That counts as stoppage. He would have made his money back.
Really? Even though it was a DQ?
That's how betting works.
A DQ counts as a stoppage?
Yeah, look it up, dude. A DQ counts as a stoppage. Jake made his money back.
I didn't know.
He's already been. I know that for a fact because I've had that happen.
I didn't even know that.
Dude, yeah, Drake made his money, dude. I saw Dillon even got community noted on that. He said, you know, Drake, you lost your money, and somebody was like, if he bet a straight finish, then it would have counted, yeah.
Interesting. I didn't even know that.
So Drake curse, I mean, I still think the Drake curse is still a real thing. I don't think this changes anything, you know, because for this to had to have changed, Dillon Danis who had to go out there. And
That's weird, because now you mentioned that, I have seen the bets, but I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at what he posted. It says by KO, but I've seen where it says KO, TKO/DQ.
correct. That's what that normally means.
Just a straight KO, so, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think Drake's even already confirmed it, so.
What a guy.
On, like, Instagram stories or something. I saw he posted some video. But anyways, yeah, man, I mean, look, this fight sucks. I saw people being like, well, why didn't Logan KO him? Like, for one, Logan Paul's not a good boxer. He's not a good fighter. And he did about as well as he could have facing a guy whose entire game plan was to stand there and do nothing. Like, on this level of shitty influencer boxing, a guy having a high guard just walking forward at you is enough to prevent from being KO'd. Dillon Danis, I mean, I don't know what we knew what his game plan was. Like, his game plan was to try and hope that Logan tired out. It didn't happen. And in the 6th round, he got frustrated, which is why he tried to, dude, I mean, come on. I mean, I understand there's a lot of Dillon Danis fans out there who were like, you know, Logan this, Logan that, you know, but like, he shot for a takedown and didn't get it. He lost the boxing match and the MMA fight.
Jesus.
Went for the guillotine, couldn't get it, and got punched on the ground, bro. Like, just pure hilarity. I mean, there's a reason why nobody gave a fuck about Dillon Danis before this fight got signed. And I don't think anybody's gonna give a flying fuck about Dillon Danis, for too much longer, dude.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little sad that whole thing in the ring didn't break out into Malice in the Palace and go following the crowd. I was so ready for it, by the way. I wanted it to happen.
Well, I wanted it to happen too, but they knew that Dillon was gonna do some shit. That's why I got, you know, because everybody knows this guy. He's funny, irony, fucking talking about fake fighter, you know. Jesus Christ. You, like, dude, how can you say to call another guy a fake fighter and then show up and not even try to box the YouTuber, bro? Like, get the fuck out, you know? What a shitty representative from our sport to send over.
What a lead up though. They sold it well.
They sold it well, dude. But at the same time, it's like, what does it all matter if like the fight's so terrible and you're not even gonna try to win?
Come on, Josh. We knew your expectations could be high for this.
I didn't know. Hold on, let me be clear here. I didn't expect the fight to be good. I said that off the top. But like, I expected Dillon Danis, if he was gonna show up, I expected him to try to win. I think that's the bare minimum you can ask from anybody. If you're watching a fight.
I didn't even expect that from him, though. I'm being honest. I just wanted to see what he was gonna do.
Yeah. So,
he did what I thought he would do. He'd fucking troll us. Yeah.
Well, I mean, good for him. Admittedly, you know, he kind of, I don't know. This fight sucked. I don't have any interest in watching Logan box again. I think Logan should just stay in the WWE, you know.
Well, that's what he said he's going to do, so you got your wish, Josh. Rey Mysterio, where you at?
I think he might still get another big boxing match someday, probably within the next year or two.
Against who, though?
I don't know, but he's still only like 27, you know,
right.
like.
Darren Till?
Darren Till would make a lot of sense.
Mike Perry?
I don't think he'd book against Mike Perry. That'd be fucking
Well, dude, Mike Perry and Idris Virgo had it going. I hope that happens.
I think that's going to be a Misfits event soon. I think that's going to be like a main event, I think.
They should, dude. I thought that'd be very good.
But yeah, man, I mean, look, that's it. That's my thoughts on it. I think, Logan Paul, I mean, I have much more thoughts on the KSI Tommy Fury fight, just because that's like, that's the funny thing, dude. Like, I like watching his Misfits cards, cause like, KSI and Tommy Fury, another level compared to Logan and Dillon, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And KSI Fury, that's another level from like the worst amateurs you'll find on a fucking Matchroom card. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
curious to see, because this saga isn't over, Josh. Like, and you know, we discussed this, and then you're set on it, and I completely get it. But KSI submitting his appeal to the PBA, Chase Moore also submitting his appeal to PBA. We'll get into that later. But I mean, no matter what, like I was telling Josh, regardless of what does happen, I think they're going to wait. They're going to try to be hopeful. And from there, I think they'll make their decision going forward as far as what JJ's plans are going next. But at the moment, we'll have to wait, because there's some clarity. There's some clarity, and there's not some clarity at the same time. So we'll have to wait. But as far as now, this whole situation, everything right now is not done, and especially since we'll get into this later as well. The announcement that Jake gave us yesterday morning.
Mm-hmm. You just want to get into that now? We can kind of just segue in.
I guess we can kind of hop over, yeah.
Yeah, fuck it. I mean, well, okay. So there is actually like two quick things I do want to say before we get into the Jake news. Did you see the pay-per-view numbers for KSI versus Tommy Fury?
I saw a number. I saw numbers, but wait, like just right now they got announced?
Last night, reported by BJPenn.com, the greatest MMA site on the planet.
I saw like 2 numbers, but I didn't know if they were real, so I was waiting to ask you.
1.3 million pay-per-view buys sold, which would make it the biggest boxing pay-per-view event of the year, outselling with the previous number one, Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis.
Can I just say something though, right now?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised, motherfuckers. I'm not surprised. I'm not. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Dude, at the end of the day, I mean, that's, by the way, is that bigger than any UFC pay-per-view this year? Just question mark?
UFC numbers haven't been released, but probably, if I had to guess.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I saw, I'm just going to call her out on it. Nina Drama constantly shit talks on boxing cards, which, look, boxing card as a whole, they're weaker. But at the end of the day, those fuckers put up numbers.
Dude, she's literally paid by the UFC to.
Oh, the bash, yeah, no.
But also, it's kind of funny too. I saw like I know what you're talking about too.
She bashed the Misfits card, and I was like, in the back of my head, I'm like, look, quality of fight, I don't disagree. I'll never disagree because it's not the same level. I'll never try to justify the level of fighting. But as far as like them making a show and selling it and the promotional value, different level. Yeah.
Well, do you know what, dude? I saw her bashing the Canelo Charlo fight. She was like, big boxing match star, never better. It's like, dude, like, there's been multiple times where Dana's been caught watching a boxing match at a UFC fight, like watching the boxing match over the fight happening right in front of him. Like, if your boss doesn't even believe me.
Well, dude, no joke. That's like, dude, that's Dana's first love, bro. That's like the chick from high school he was with. They broke up, but he still thinks about her every now and then.
Oh, that's true. That's 100%. Well, because Dana, I really don't think. I think he's much more passionate about boxing than MMA.
Well, dude, it's Dana's wet dream to go back to boxing. You just never admit to it.
By the way, I just checked. I wanted to see what she said. Apparently, she's in the Middle East right now, so we should be praying for her to come home safely.
Jesus, Josh, you're gonna get us canceled, bro.
I don't see why, dude. Come on, do we really have to deny that the Middle East treats women worse than fucking?
Someone's gonna cancel us, dude.
Well, fucking, it's not gonna be anybody that lives in reality, so so I don't have to be fucking worried, okay? They really got her fucking flying out to the Middle East for what?
Abu Dhabi.
Oh, that's right. But dude, you don't want to catch it. I saw a story, this is real quickly, of like a lady who got like a layover in like Dubai, and she's there for the next 2 years now. Like they just threw her in prison. She had like a layover. I don't know what happened. She was wearing the wrong thing. Yeah, so, yeah, she's fucking crazy for going, bro. She's wilding out, bro.
I was gonna make a meme. I was gonna make a joke. I'm gonna say it on air. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. I saw a meme on Twitter because she posted a picture of her in Abu Dhabi, and I was like, damn, she finally covered her tits because Sean's always calling her out for that. Hey, it's not my joke. It's Sean's joke. That's all I'm gonna say.
Sean Strickland, yeah.
It was the first time her cleavage wasn't out a little bit in a while. Respectfully, just saying.
Respectfully. We're being.
I'm just saying, it was just kind of funny though. Like she's in the Middle East, and that just happened to be a thing I noticed.
Yeah, fucking just. She better hope they don't look at her Twitter, bro. Fucking. She's gonna fucking get Jamal Khashoggi over there, bro. Like she gotta fucking. She gotta be careful. Anyways, though, in regards to the rest of this Prime card, what fights can we talk about? Obviously, Slim Poppy coming up short. Hate to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they both looked. I thought. It was weird. I expected a little bit more out of Slim early on, but he ended up coming up late, obviously, with the finish, because he was getting probably up until that finish, Slim, I keep wanting to say Slim, Salt Poppy probably was winning the card on the scorecards, right? Or was winning the fight on the scorecards.
Absolutely, yeah.
They both got a little bit tired, but like Josh told me in the green room, I mean, they did have quite a bit of activity, but even then though, Josh, I was still surprised, because in that final round before the sequence, the finishing sequence came in, what was it, the 5th round, 4th round? I can't even remember at this point. They both looked like pretty tired. I was pretty surprised, especially with Salt's obviously body transformation that was getting lots of love over fight week and in the weeks leading up to the fight itself, and just to see him he looked like he was just like right, like he had that heart, but the body didn't have enough gas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Well, I will say that I believe these were short notice. The absolute, like this fight here between Salt Papi and Slim, I believe they only had 4 weeks, so not a normal 6 to 8 week training camp. So that could be why. But also, dude, like, Logan Paul and Dillon Danis aren't going to get gassed because they're not really fighting. Slim, I mean, I hate to say it, but like, KSI, Tom Fury, they're not going to gas because they're not fighting, you know? Like, this fight here, these guys were in there, they were actually throwing combinations, they were ripping to the body, they were throwing tons of shots, man. So I'm actually not even surprised in the fucking slightest that they actually got tired. So, yeah, man. I mean, I'm not very surprised at all that this fight went the way that it did in regards to...
By the way, dude, Slim, dude, the fucking John Finch of fucking, influencer boxing, dude, or crossover boxing, whatever you want to call it at this point. There's a whole debate about that too recently, just, you know.
Yeah. What do you mean though? He's the John Finch.
He's getting this, dude, like, I mean, that seemed like pound for pound, like, lists that people make. I know, obviously, they're, you know, just fucking, you know.
You're basically saying people are just, like, not respecting him, basically?
Yeah, you know, they're putting him really down on the list, not giving him, kind of like overlooking him. And I'm like, yeah, dude, this guy's undefeated, like I said, crossover boxing, you know, kind of. And, in finishing guys, though, dude. Like, at the end of the day, like, I think he has some of the most finishes out of all these guys. He has the longest active win streak with no losses. I mean, I saw, no disrespect. I know Pretty Boy Taylor's beat a lot of the influencers and won, but he's also lost. But granted, he's lost to guys like Tommy Fury, Idris Virgo, I think he took on too. But, I mean, dude, Slim, seven fight win streak, what is it? Something like that? It's up there.
Yeah.
Finishes, multiple finishes, like, gotta put a little bit of respect there, and he's not gonna get the big name fights, I think, which is really fucked up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's definitely he's always been undervalued in this entire influencer boxing thing. I think it's just because he doesn't have a big name, he doesn't have a big fan base. You gotta give him credit, man. He comes out to slang and bang every single time, and that's really all you can really say about him.
He's the only influencer getting consistent finishes, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, man. He's consistently getting finishes. He is very entertaining. You've got to give him credit, man. You've got to give him credit. For coming in here, and he's never been a guy that gets the attention. Even Salt Papi and even Dean the Great and some of these other guys get more attention than him. So I guess you're right. I just didn't think of it that way. Anyways, man. Up and down the rest of the card, I actually mentioned it. Dean the Great picking up the winner of Waleed Sharks. That was a banger. Anthony Taylor defeating King Kenny. Terrible fight.
No surprise.
Yeah, Swarms losing. Hate to see it. Chase Demore got robbed. I mean, what fights do you most want to highlight coming out of this one?
Man, dude, Waleed Sharks seemed great. I was a bit disappointed in Waleed, man. Up until the end, though, I will say that. But it came at the end, which was the issue. He got dropped early on, was losing most of the fight up until the very end, where he had a moment. He kind of rallied back. And once again, Josh, a bit disappointed because this fight I felt deserved more rounds, and they didn't get him. And it shows right there at the end what could have maybe happened if they had more rounds. Now they probably won't have a trilogy. Obviously, I feel like you could run it back at some point, but I feel like Dean's probably going to want to move on to someone else after this because, I mean, these guys have been going back and forth for over a year. These guys can't even see each other in paint, and he just dominated him for most of the fight, and even dropped him, and ended up getting the decision. So that's the end for this one. I'm curious to see where he goes from here, but nevertheless, still a good matchup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I mean, it was a great matchup, and honestly, like I said, hopefully they give these guys something different, move on from this, because that was just so dominant. But yeah, I mean, in regards to the rest of the card, man, I mean, look, it wasn't that great. I mean, there was a couple of iffy decisions. The tag team match was actually the most fun of the night.
Yeah, which was weird. I do think they need to do on some. I feel like the rules are getting to a pretty good place because now you have to be in there for 30 seconds before you can tag in. I don't know if they did that last time or not. One issue that I do have though, Josh, I feel when there's 30 seconds left on the clock, you should not be able to tag out. I feel like that'd be a good rule change. Just my opinion. I feel like I think when there's X amount of like 45 seconds, 15 seconds, whatever it may be, I feel like when at that part of the round you can no longer tag in and out. I feel like whoever's in there has to let it play out because it just fucks with the pace of the fight too much, in my opinion. And granted, it's tag team, it's all that, but and we were talking about that. It's crazy because, like you said, it's probably the most entertaining thing tonight. All those guys were there watching it, and we were it was probably the most fun we had during all of that. And we were even like talking about it and talking about what could make it better. And that was one of the first things that kind of came up in the conversation was I feel like near the end you can't tag out, or you can't tag out during certain sequences and stuff like that. But like I said, it was interesting that it was a big point of conversation for us, the fucking tag team match, which ended up being a draw, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
For those who
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, it was a draw. And look, I mean, there's a lot of rule changes that they can go ahead and do to make this better. This was the absolute best outcome, I feel like.
Yeah. What would be your rule change, by the way?
That, I think they should make tags limited. I think that for
like 3 tags per round,
three tags around. Honestly, probably just 1 tag around. I think if you keep on swapping out, it's just kind of, you should get 2 tags. 2 tags around, I feel like makes sense.
Per person?
I think that they should,
or 2 tags total?
Per team. Per round.
Okay.
So if a guy starts, he could get tagged in, he can get tagged back in, but that's essentially it. You know, only 2 tags per team per round. I think they should go ahead and honestly they should get rid of Survivor tag being a thing. It doesn't work. I mean, it doesn't work. They had that one event where it was headlined by it and it fucking sucked and nobody knew the rules. Honestly, I feel like tag team boxing is not, I really think they just need to limit the tags, make the tags to where they can only happen within the last 30 seconds. They cannot happen within the last 30 seconds. I think if somebody gets rocked, I think it's kind of fucking stupid that they're just allowed to run over and tag their teammate. You have to make it more interesting, dude. Because that's what happened when these guys got rocked. They just ran over and tagged their buddy in.
It was a smart idea, though.
No, it was. But at the same time, like, you're never going to have a finish if that's the rule set. But that's my kind of closing thoughts on this. I don't have anything else to add. Any closing thoughts on the Prime card, man?
No, I mean, like I said, it had its issues, it had its problems. I think like I said at the start of the show, the main event, co-main event failed. But I'm curious to see what's next. What is next? What's going to be the next big card? And how many people are going to come back after this shit show? You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to come back into the shit show. I really don't think. I saw people being like, oh, you know, maybe this event was so bad that maybe it blew up the bubble that is influencer boxing. No. They sold 1.3 million pay-per-views. They're not going anywhere.
Dude, by the way, like the real, like people who watch like obviously the traditional combat sports are like major copium right now. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, they have nothing to say because they're just like, oh, they're idiots for buying the fight, or oh, the event sucked. It's like, I mean, yeah, to an extent, but like, I'm not going to make a big overarching judgment of the whole thing. I mean, I think there's fun.
Because look, at the end of the day, and for those people who don't like, if this does go out to people who are listening to us out there who are those who are making those comments and probably are making fun of us for even watching this stuff and somewhat enjoying it. I didn't pay for this shit, but you know what I am paying for this weekend when fucking Alexander Volkanovski fights Islam Makhachev in the main event in Abu Dhabi. That's what the fuck I'm paying for. So I do know fights.
Yeah, we do know fights. We'll talk about. Here's the thing, dude. I don't understand how people can be like, yeah, bro, I'm a hardcore fight fan. I watch all the fights. And then you're like, yeah, dude, I hate influencer boxing with a passion. They're terrible fights. It's like.
But they don't even watch the fucking prelims on a UFC card?
Yeah, it's like, dude, I watch fucking UFC prelims. I watch like fucking.
Well, it's even funny.
Bellator. I watch fucking regional events. I've covered regional events. Like, I've been there for fucking the worst.
Do you wake up at 3 in the morning? Do you wake up 3 in the fucking morning and watch fights in Poland? Do you wake up at 3 in the morning to watch fights in Australia? Yeah. No, you fucking don't. I bet there's not that many people who do that. Do you get home at 3 p.m. from your fucking job and watch Chad and Gallagher fight on the early prelims? No, you fucking don't.
Yeah, I mean, look, dude. I mean, we fucking Chad and Gallagher. There you go again. We have fucking.
That's my dog, bro.
I know how.
I think I need to get Chad and Gallagher on the fucking podcast, dude. That's what I should really do. I can fanboy out a little bit.
Regardless, man, I think it's about time to move on. Because there was more fights to talk about, including UC Vegas 81, which did go down for the UC Apex in Las Vegas, Nevada last Saturday night. Went down after the Prime card, so they didn't even really interact that much. In the main event, Edson Barboza picking up an upset win over Sadiq Youssef. First 2 rounds were really rough. Dude, he brought it back hard in the championship rounds, man. Just beat the fuck out of him. Ends up getting an decision win. What'd you think about this win, man? Edson Barboza, that's his 2nd win in a row. First beat another younger guy in Billy Q, and now beating another younger guy in Sadiq Youssef, man. Love to see it.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was dude, after that, it was the first round where he got dropped. I was a little shocked. I thought things were going to be looking a little grim, but he ended up bouncing back hard, like you said, and that was an impressive performance, especially for a guy who's 37 years old in a weight class like featherweight. And I really thought Sadiq Yusuf was going to get it done and finally separate himself a little bit. And some falling short, kind of some mistakes, a little maybe some game planning issues. I don't think he even tried to attempt to take down Edson Barbosa at any point during this fight. Or maybe he actually did. He attempted it. I forgot. Actually looking at it, he did attempt twice. But even then, the game plan wasn't centered about, like constantly pressuring that. Like early it was, but as the fight progressed like that later, it wasn't such a pending thing. And the takedowns weren't being thrown out there as consistently as they probably shouldn't have. And Edson Barbosa comes in probably the best shit of his life and gets it done. I don't know what's next for the guy, though, Josh. I mean, I think there is a few matchups at 45 that could make sense. But he does have some pretty relatively recent losses to guys like, Bryce Mitchell, Giga Chikazi, who are still in the rankings. But he did bounce back with two sick finishes. Well, a sick finish and in a hard 5-round fight in the main event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, look, dude, I don't really know what's next for Edson Barbosa. Partially because I'm very shocked in how his last 2 fights went, man.
Hey, man, I had him beating Billy Q. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the Billy Q fight was a.
I do need to admit to something though. I had Edson Barbosa all last week leading into the day of the podcast, and then I changed my mind the day of. I was like,
that's
something?
crazy. Me too.
I started thinking about it. I got it in my head. And then, bam, I switched it up. Are you being serious? Did you actually?
No, I'm fucking with you. But I did the same thing, though, Angel. I'm just fucking around. But can you imagine, though?
I do it all the time, though, but I had it all week, man. I was Edson Barbosa, but I was like, dang, I started thinking about it, and I sat down. It's like, I think Sadiq Yusuf's going to get it done.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that, man. I will say, for the Billy Q fight, I knew that one was very much a fight that could have gone either way, because both those guys just come to bang. I didn't expect. I mean, Sadiq Yusuf is so talented, though, man. I mean, he's so fucking talented. I didn't see this coming at all. Very impressive win. I don't know who Barbosa's going to face next, but dude, like, he was a guy that when he went down to featherweight, he took a couple beatings, and I'm like, man, probably not it. Like, it's not it, bro. Like, maybe you should go back to lightweight, or maybe you should be a Tony. Maybe not. He's not Tony Ferguson bad, but like maybe take some Tony Ferguson level fights. Bobby Green. Like guys like that.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, dude. We're fucking back. The Brazilians are back, Angel.
I know, but he's probably gonna end up fighting. I saw someone throw out Calvin Kattar out there. When did I thought about that no one mentioned was Josh Emmett?
Josh Emmett would make a lot of sense. I saw that Josh Emmett said he may move to lightweight.
Oh, what the fuck? That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I think he's just old and tired of cutting weight.
We could blame him though, right?
Yeah, he was previously a lightweight to start his career as well.
That's trippy.
So that's something to go ahead and note. But yeah, man, I mean, in regards to Edson Barbosa, dude, I think that there's tons of fights that he can go ahead and take next. I think Calvin Kattar does make a lot of sense. Calvin Kattar coming off of that ACL tear, and he said he'll be back in around a year. He's just now getting healed, just now getting cleared, so maybe, man.
Early next year, potentially?
Yeah.
I'll be down.
But,
down to fight.
Yeah. But, yeah, anyways, DTF, But anyways, man. In regards to the co-main event, Viviane Arguero picking up an upset win. 2 upsets on the night, man. Over Jennifer Maia, this time by unanimous decision, 29-28 across the cards. I will say that I know that some people, maybe thought that Jennifer Maia deserved the nod in this one. I'm not in, I honestly couldn't tell you what I thought about this fight.
Right? Should it be honest, right?
I was a little bit busy at the time. I think I was just baked, but yeah, man. I think I gave this fight to Viviane Arguero. But Jennifer Maia was competitive, especially in rounds 1 and 3. So how did you score this one, and what did you think about it?
It's funny you say that because I literally just read a comment. Maia 1 and 3 pretty clearly.
Yeah, there you go. So,
and I'm looking at MMA decision round. Fan scoring had it almost. It was Josh. It was well. It's like it's 76%, 23%. We'll make numbers easy. 75-25. Maia or Joe. Most of the media had it for Viviana, and then 3 had it for Maia. So there's a decent bit back and forth, but the fans have spoken, Josh. They think Jennifer Maia won this clearly.
Yeah. Yeah, Vivian Argero got the nod, and a lot of people, but I'm just saying, some people did think Jennifer Maia deserved the nod.
It was still a relatively close fight, though, right? Like,
it was close. It was competitive. Both women had their moments. Yeah, man, it was an alright fight. I mean, I don't have too many deep thoughts on it. Neither one of these women are going to challenge for a title soon, nor are they going to fight for a title.
Hey, man,
Vivian Argero, I mean,
she's number 9 now in the rankings, bro. Don't say that. Macy Barber's right in front of her.
Macy Barber would beat the fuck out of her. Just saying.
Maybe she could fight Laura Murphy. Laura Murphy's 7. That could make sense.
Yeah, I don't got a problem with that. Lauren Murphy, dude, we haven't seen Lauren Murphy in a while, I feel like.
We haven't seen her since she lost to Jessica in Brazil, so I think that was earlier this year.
Yeah, that was January.
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck, dude. I love Lauren Murphy. I don't care. She's game as fuck. That's all I really need.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, in regards to Vivian Argero, fine win, but we'll see what happens next. In regards to the rest of the main card, man, a couple of big knockouts, big wins. Which ones do you most want to talk about?
I think we just got to highlight it, Josh. It's one down. Jonathan Martinez getting a leg kick finish over Adrian Yanez. I mentioned this last week. This was a dangerous fight for Yanez. Jonathan Martinez's leg kick game is strong. And gotta say it, man. I've been talking about him and his fellow gym member who was also in this card, Chris Gutierrez, bro. These guys both build up little win streaks over time silently, and they were just waiting for their opportunity, and bam, they have arrived. And Jonathan Martinez, Josh, I mean, 3 decently sized profile names within the year. Cub Swanson, almost a year to the day of that fight. He beat Cub Swanson on October 15th of 2022. He beat Adrian Yanez October 14th of 2023. And in between that, Said Nurmagomedov, there's a new 135er in the conversation. I mean, he's made himself known. He's announced himself into the 135 division. I kind of want to get right into it, Josh. Who do you think he should fight next? I think a Dom Cruz fight could be fun.
Dom Cruz would be a lot of fun. I don't think Dom Cruz would take that fight. Especially not now. I mean, when's the last time Dom Cruz fought, man? It's been over a year since he lost to Marlon Vera, I believe. So
he's got to heal, bro. He's got to heal.
Yeah, no, I get that. Shit, man. Jonathan Martinez, taking a look at the rankings. You know what, man? Fuck, I have no idea. Who do you want to see him fight? I actually don't have one.
I said Dom Cruz, but I don't think anybody else makes sense.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. You're right. Dom Cruz is gonna get it by default.
I don't think they'll push him up to like any of the other guys above that. So I think that's who makes the most sense. I mean, unless they want to push a Rob Font fight, but I don't think that makes sense for Jonathan Martinez. And if I was his team, I wouldn't want that fight. I'd be pushing for someone probably better than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, admittedly, I do not think Dom Cruz would take that fight. But look, dude, that would make a lot of sense. Rob Font fight doesn't make sense. Song Yudong could be interesting. What do you think? Song Yudong versus fucking Jonathan Martinez, 7-11.
But he has a fight potentially booked against Petr Yan, or already does.
That's right. I forgot.
That's what I'm telling you. There's not a lot of options.
Well, I guess they're gonna have to get creative for Jonathan Martinez.
Unless they give him Cheeto. Cheeto could make sense, but they're not gonna. But Sean wants to fight Cheeto.
I know, but this is fucking WWE now, so we're gonna go ahead and give Cheeto Vera a title shot.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I say Cheeto. Cheeto could make sense, but they're not gonna give it to Cheeto.
Yeah.
That could be a bigger of a matchup, dude. Jonathan Martinez versus Cheeto Vera.
That'd be so good. Jonathan Martinez may win that fight. If it's 3 rounds, too.
Yeah.
Just saying. That'd be pretty fucking crazy. But anyways, yeah, I mean, yeah, man. I mean, I don't know who Jonathan Martinez is gonna face next, but goddamn, is he good? I mean, to run through Adrian Yanez like that, like even Adrian Yanez's loss to Rob Font wasn't like that. Like they were swinging in the pocket and he got caught. But for him to just get dominated, Jonathan Martinez is the real fucking deal, Holyfield, bro. The Dragon, by the way, badass nickname. Just saying. But he's a guy, dude, that came into the UFC so young, and he's just stayed working, dude. He's not a guy expected to be in this position, but he is. So, full props to him. In regards to the rest of the card, dude, Michel Pereira, dude, he is a problem at middleweight. I've wanted to see him middleweight for a while. I know you probably have too. He's there, and he's fucking a problem, dude.
You do. I mean, look, he did have to take on Andre Petroski on short notice. And, I mean, obviously, I think that plays somewhat of a factor because it was supposed to be Marc-Andre Barrios originally, who I think I was more interested in that matchup than this one. Petroski was still a good person to put in there, but, you know, Petroski obviously traditionally wrestler. We know how he's going to come out and fight. Obviously, Michel Pereira, calculated, gets it done quick. I mean, I said it, man. If he ever wants to make that move to 185, I know he'll do good and look pretty damn good. Pretty. Like I said, man, he's announced himself into the 185 division. I can't wait to see his next matchup.
Yeah, man. Same here. I mean, I think sky's the limit. I mean, honestly, especially a middleweight where there's not that many wrestlers. And obviously, like you mentioned, Petroski, short notice and all that, but like, Andre Petroski is still a bad man. So for him to get taken out of there like that was shocking. Michelle Pahey, dude, I'm very excited to see what he does
Just
next.
turned 30, by the way, this year. Just turned 30 earlier this month. So, a lot of time left. A lot of fights left.
Yeah. He's come a long way. You really don't think about it. He's come a long way from being that guy that when he first got signed, like, he wasn't very good. Like, but they only signed him because he was doing crazy shit in Road FC.
Yeah.
Like, he's come a long way, man. You gotta give, like, props. Really props, man.
It's crazy. Dude. Michelle Pahey has 7-2 in the UFC, but he really isn't that far from being fucking 9-0 in the UFC.
No, he's not, you know? And it's so funny that his losses are Diego Sanchez and a lightweight.
Tristan Connolly.
Tristan Connolly, who the only reason he got that fight is because he did mocap for the EA UFC games.
Shout out.
So, what a badass, dude. I still love Tristan Connolly. I think it's fucked that they cut him after 2 losses.
Yeah, Pat, but they were Pat Sabatini and Darren Elkins. You know what?
Darren Elkins rules though. Darren Elkins just won on Saturday.
No, you're not wrong. But you know what's even more sad about that? He lost like a few months later again in like a promotion in Canada to a guy who's.
You're not wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Lost to Xavier Nash.
I don't care, Angel. Fuck
8-7 Xavier Nash.
No, you're not gonna change my mind on this. He still needs to be in the UFC, Angel. Still needs to be. Anyways, man. Yeah, I mean, in regards to the rest of the card, I mentioned Darren Elkins got a big win on the prelims. Outside of that win over TJ Brown, man, what fights most really to talk about? There were, and it was an okay night, honestly, of fights for the UFC. Okay.
Terrence McKinney ran over a UFC newcomer who's 8-1, beat the shit out of him.
Dude, Terrence McKinney, you know what? Terrence McKinney's a fucking man of the people. Cause that fight, they literally had that fight going on during the introductions of Paul Danis. During the fucking, national anthem.
He took care of business quick, didn't he? So you could go watch that shit show if you wanted to.
I know. What a guy, dude. Shout out T-Rex. T-Rex, my boy.
Christian Rodriguez, Cameron Simon. Disappointing one for Cameron Simon, but Christian Rodriguez did miss weight again. So he's missed weight 3 different times. He missed on the Contender Series. He missed against this fight in Raul. He missed this fight. Probably might have to move up to 145, Josh. You know the UFC don't fuck around with weight cuts. So, not necessarily weight cuts, missing weight. They fuck with weight cuts. They just don't fuck with you missing them.
Yeah.
And then
they love having people cut weight.
And then Chris Gutierrez bouncing back from his loss against Pedro Munoz. Good win in there. Once again, like I said, teammates with Jonathan Martinez, both of them, like I said, both built up little win streaks silently. Both now ranked and very close to each other, so I wonder what's going to happen there. Another group of teammates, together and ranked. Josh, this card took a lot of hits. I think it's very sad because originally we had Ronnie Yaya on this card, which I was interested in. So I mentioned Marc-Andre Barrios originally on this. Terrence McKinney, Chris Duncan was a matchup at one point. Duncan had visa issues. David Dvorak, Tato Taira, which was supposed to be a big time 125 fight. So this card did suffer. I think it missed out on a lot of big fights. But I think overall it was okay. I give it another 6 once again. Maybe even a 5.5, 5.9 IGN score for you, Josh.
I am going to go the most IGN of IGN scores. I'm going to give this a 5.1, Angel. This card was just fine. I'm not going to remember this card in T-minus 3 days from now.
Are you sure, Josh?
Yes. I think that come Friday, I'm not going to remember this card.
Because of the fucking fight that's happening.
No, I know, but I'm just like, if I had to like sit there and try to think for a minute, I'd be like, what fights happened last Saturday? I could probably, like Friday, I'll be able to tell you like 2 or 3. This entire night's just so forgettable. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too mean.
God, Josh, why are you being such an asshole?
Because they're not bad fights. They're not bad. They're not terrible.
God, Josh. I mean, what if you were there, dude? I bet you all these people could beat you up. You sound weak, Josh.
I know. I'm such a weak bitch. They probably could all beat me up. I'll say that much. Emily Ducote might be able to fuck me up. So. But I don't know about Ashley Yoder. No, I'm fucking around. I'm fucking around. But yeah, dude. I think we should move on because it's UFC 294 5 week, Angel. We fucking made it. we went through the fray of multiple fight cancellations. You know, we had to, it's an Abu Dhabi card too, man, and we always know they load those up. And it's going down this Saturday morning for all of you that are listening to this. Our podcast comes out Friday night. You only have to wait a couple hours, guys. This main card's going down at 1 p.m. Central Time. So, you know, pretty cool, you know, depending on where you're at. Nonetheless, in the main event, UFC 294, the rematch. Islam Makhachev taking on Alexander Volkanovski just 8 months after their last fight in Perth, Australia, which was one of the fights of the year where we saw those two go back and forth, blow for 5 rounds. Number 1 and 2 pound for pound on the planet. They are now going to do battle once again. Much different circumstances. Obviously, we know the great Alexander Volkanovski coming in here on 11 days notice. But hey, man, if there's a motherfucker that's going to show up on 11 days notice and beat Islam Makhachev, it's going to be Alexander Volkanovski. Just saying. If there's going to be any guy on the planet that can do it, it's going to be him. Looking at the betting odds are actually closer now for the rematch than they were for the original fight whenever Volkanovski had a full camp. And then for Makhachev, we got to give him some sort of credit too. Volkanovski and Charles Oliveira, polar opposite opponents. Very different game plans, different style of opponent, excuse me. But Angel, it's time to break into the fight stuff. Give me your excitement level. We've already talked about the announcement just last week. We're already here, man. What do you think?
It's a 10, Josh. I'm rock hard with emotion.
Yeah. All right, JK. Go ahead and...
I'm rock hard with emotion. You got a boner, Josh.
Go ahead, swag man. Tell us what else is going on.
God, dude. It is short notice. Obviously, that is definitely going to play a factor, I think, no matter what. But God, dude, for Islam, obviously, he's going to have to prepare for a completely different guy, completely different style. His last matchup to a fight that he even at one point in his mind, he thought he lost. Because, Josh, I don't know if you remember, but Fight Night, it came out that Islam went over his corner and said that if it goes Alexander Volkanovski's way, he wants the instant rematch. So that's already a factor. Now, something I do want to bring up to you, Josh, I haven't mentioned to you. I did go back and rewatch Alexander Volkanovski versus Islam Makhachev, and I actually rescored that fight.
Yeah?
I originally had it for Alexander the Great. I went back and I gave it to actually Islam Makhachev.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so I actually had a change of heart. I remember the day of, I thought that Alexander Volkanovski had done enough. I thought he had been robbed of greatness. I said it on this show live.
Yeah.
I said that we were prevented from a beautiful moment from Alexander Volkanovski potentially cementing himself as maybe the greatest fighter on the planet.
Yeah, tell him.
But I was wrong, Josh. Alexander Volkanovski actually lost that fight. Regardless, though, that doesn't matter now because he gets a chance of redemption. A fight that a lot of people do still think he won. That is still a debate out there in the air. You know something, Josh? I'm going to change my pick from last time out. I'm going to Alexander the Great. I think he'll get it done this time. Craig Joe's flying in last minute into Abu Dhabi. Let's get it done, King. The Aussie get it done this weekend.
You think that's crazy, man. Wow. I'm actually, it's interesting to me that you watched the first fight, you changed your mind on the result, and you still came to the conclusion that Volkanovski is going to win. Why?
I just got a feeling, man. I got a feeling, and it's the storyline. He did well. He has things. He's prepared. He's put a chink in the armor, man. There's still something there. He's getting another opportunity at it, and with this kind of weight off him, right? Because he's coming in short notice. He knows that it's like, okay, I know I haven't done anything, but there'll be this element of like, I can get it done. He can do the Michael Bisping, Josh. He can have that moment. I think that's what is going to allow him to have this freedom in this fight and to do things well and with no pressure on him. And he's going to be on enemy soil this time around, no home field.
Yeah, that is true. He's actually on. They flipped it around, dude. I mean, the first fight it was on Volkanovski's home territory. He didn't even get the decision. Maybe this time he'll get a close decision.
A split draw.
Look, you brought up Michael Bisping. I don't know. You brought Michael Bisping. It's a bit different. Mike had like a full week more.
Yeah, he did. But Mike literally did take that phone call and started immediately running through the streets of Canada.
Which is badass. Which is badass. I mean, we gotta give him credit.
That is a pretty good story, though.
But look, Angel, here's the way I look at it. if people could walk around and you can believe the Son of God came down to earth 2,000 years ago,
Oh my God,
and he killed himself for our sins, and he can walk on water, and there's a God up there looking out for ourselves. And if you get on your knees and pray to him that things will change, if you can believe that, then you can believe that Alexander Volkanovski is going to knock the fuck out of Islam Makhachev this Saturday night in front of his people in Abu Dhabi. And that's exactly what's going to happen.
It's just too poetic, right? It's too perfect, right? Like
it is. That's exactly what's going to happen. Because Alexander Volkanovski and new on Saturday night, baby.
Double champ, baby.
Double champ. It's going to happen.
Aussie.
He's coming in here fresh. And really, dude, I really just think it's the way that first fight ended. I think he's going to go right back on the attack. I think Makhachev, dude, it's one thing to be, you can be the more fresh guy, but how much does being fresh really mean when you game plan for a substantially different guy? You know what I mean? It's one thing it is substantially different to go from Charles Oliveira to Alexander Volkanovski. It just is.
Also, Volk's already had his eye on this fight for a while still. Like, he never Yeah, he's still like, even though he did have a fight a year in between, he was still dead set. I'm going to fight Islam next. Like, I'm going to fight Islam.
Correct. And also, a big part of it as well is that he got surgery, after his win over Rodriguez. And then he said that, like you mentioned, hey, I'm going to fight Makhachev next. The nod did not go to him. But he's been in training. He just started training camp already for ELYXR. Like, he's been getting in shape for a minute, dude. Like, he was going to fight in January regardless. So, it's not like he's coming in here just, off his couch, having done nothing. It's fucking Alexander the Great Volkanovski, motherfucker, Like, he's going to come in here looking in great shape. I know he's going to give him his all. And also, a lot of it just has to do with he knows what to expect.
By the way,
a big thing is confidence. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
I agree. No, but I was going to mention, Josh, I love how we're talking about Alexander, because if you go back 2 or 3 years, Josh, when he fought Jose Aldo, our thoughts on Alexander Volkanovski were like significantly different. It's kind of crazy how he's evolved for MMA fans and his fighting and his fighting style and kind of where he's at now, dude. Because I wasn't the biggest guy in Alexander Volkanovski. I still wasn't, even after his max wins. It took a little bit to get there, but he's won me over, Josh. He's taken my heart.
Yeah, and same thing for me too. I think that man, like, Volkanovski has just made everybody's a fan of him. I mean, it's just because this is his daring to be great moment. There are so many guys that come into sports, and you can tell some guys get into sports because they want to make money, and there are some guys that they just get there and they never lose their drive, they never lose their hunger, and they're just about legacy. He's fucking about legacy right now, man. And, he knows, man. I really think he's gonna get it done, dude. I really think he is. It's a lot of it's just vibes, but sometimes it's vibes, man. And we've been comparing it to the Bisping thing. Cause in my mind, that's the greatest short notice performance ever. And I remember at the time we were watching that fight. I remember we were watching that fight over Skype while also playing Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Zombies. Shout out Black Ops 3 Zombies. Man, like, it's crazy to think about 7 years later. I really think we're going to get an even a better result, dude. I really think so. I mean, just everything's lining up perfectly. I remember going to that fight having a feeling that Bisping was going to pull it off, and I got the same feeling in my gut this weekend for Volkanovski. So I think he's going to do it, dude, and new on Saturday night. If he doesn't, still, game as fuck, and we still might see a trilogy some point down the line. So
right, round 6 inbound.
Damn straight, dude. What do you think about, just to kind of move on from the main event, down to the co-main events? Because Kamaru's been stepping in here on also about 11, 12 day notice to take on Hamzat Chimaev. This fight's been talked about a lot. They talked about it down to welterweight, and we really think we weren't going to get it.
Yep.
Instead, Kamaru stepping in here, we're going to get this not really a dream fight, but a fight that we've wanted for a long time, man. What do you would think?
Yeah, no, you're right. I didn't think we were ever going to get this, but we're getting it now, and at 185. Which is the other big thing. Dude, by the way, Kamaru Usman's corner is like that GSP picture, bro. Did you hear he's bringing in Henry?
I did see this, yes.
For the first time in his career, he's going to have Henry Hoopt and Trevor Whitman both in his corner, bro. All he needs is like one other dude to make it go. I mean, his brother to be there. I guess it'll still be a sick photo. I'm sure he'll have Muhammad in there. But, dude, that's gonna be a sick. I mean, By the way, having those two guys makes me think he's going to have more of a striking-centric fight against Chimaev, which I think is a big thing to no one's really mentioned. I think that's very interesting to me because I'm kind of like, all right. And Kamaru had good power at 170. Can you imagine at 185? I mean, his striking is not his, he's not Israel Adesanya. That's not his forte. He's a wrestler. And he's going to be taking on another guy who's a wrestler, but who's willing to throw down, is willing to get in danger and take some risk. Kamaru Usman has a great chance. This is the storyline that I talked about last time, Josh, that no one is bringing up. The fact that Kamaru Usman is also trying to achieve greatness on this night. Because Dana White said that whoever wins this fight is going to be fighting for the UFC 185-pound title against Sean Strickland. Kamaru Usman has the chance here at becoming a two-weight champion, not simultaneously, at separate times. That's hard as fuck, dude. And no one is mentioning this. Like I said, he might be number 2 behind GSP. He might pass Matt Hughes, but he'll never be number 1. I love that. Piss the people off. But that's something that no one's mentioning. Like, no one is putting that out into the universe. And it's so aggravating because that's a storyline that people should be appreciating and should be seeking out and having fun for it. And there's a lot on the line here for both these guys. And Chimaev, if he does win, he gets a shot at the title, and his stardom is just going to blow up when that fight comes around, dude. Sean Strickland, Chimaev media, you cannot tell me that pay-per-view is not going to be amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. I mean, look, a couple things. You're correct about, if anybody, he's never been able to pass GSP. If they were he has passed GSP already. You have brainworms, you should go do something else, dude. But yeah, he's not going to pass him. He might pass Matt Hughes one day. I think he already has. It's close though. It's close. No, I'm not going to make an argument either way. Same time, man. Look, this fight, him moving up the middleweight, could potentially get a rematch with Sean Strickland, and he's already beaten Sean Strickland. A lot of people don't know this. Down at welterweight. Oh, yeah. Sean Strickland previously fought him and got 30-25, so got fucking rocked.
I didn't know that was the scorecard. Wow.
It may not be exactly that bad, but I want to say it was like a 30. He beat the fuck out of Sean Strickland. It was like 30-26, I want to say. I bet I could pull it up right now. But yeah, it was a very uncompetitive fight. Yeah, UFC 210, it was 30-27, 30-26, 30-26. He 30-26 Sean Strickland. So if you're a Kamaru Usman, man, you've really got, and obviously Sean Strickland's much better now, but you've got to be feeling some sort of.
You're going for broke. You're going for broke if you're Kamaru Usman, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're going for broke, especially because you know that, you've already beaten the guy, So, you've already beaten Sean Strickland. You just got to get through Khamzat Chimaev, but I don't think he's going to be able to. This is my official prediction. I think Khamzat Chimaev is going to fuck up Kamaru Usman on Saturday.
I think he's going to knock him out, too. Could sub him. I think could tag him, then follow it up by sub. I think it's a finish no matter what.
I think he's going to finish him, yeah. I don't think it's – look, Kamaru Usman, we've known this for his last few fights. He's at that point where he's had so many injuries and he's getting older and he's in a weight class where it's like he's not a heavyweight, so it's not like he's going to be fine at 42, He's at that point of diminishing returns, and you've seen that in every single one of his fights. Mm-hmm. And if this were Kamaru Usman of 2-3 years ago, him, coming up and taking this fight, I'd think maybe he could pull it off.
I will say though, Josh, we do gotta look at the other side because I'm gonna mention another outcome that's very possible. I don't think it's fully unrealistic for Chimaev to come out hot and get caught by Kamaru Usman, get a little overzealous, and come in and get fucking tagged, dropped, and Kamaru Usman finishes the fight. I think that is kind of a possibility. I could be completely wrong here, but that's an outcome that will not shock me. Mm-hmm. I do expect Chimaev to win. I would expect them to do it in sick fashion and get it finished because, like you said, he's Kamaru Usman's kind of damaged goods at this point. But if we get Kamaru Usman for that night again, Josh, I wouldn't be. He lands that one shot like he did against Jorge Masvidal. I think it'd be lights out again. Could be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. Look, I will say that if he does get overzealous, I think Khamzat Chimaev can get caught. Kamaru Usman doesn't have a lot of power, and going up one weight class is only going to make that better. Conventionally speaking, you would imagine so, right?
Durability, too, for both.
Exactly. And I think the fact that they're both doing this, this is, obviously, Khamzat fought a little bit at 185. This is his first meaningful fight at 185. So I don't even know how he's going to perform. But what I do know is that he's a younger guy. he looked great against Gilbert Burns. I know some people were like, oh my god, he might have lost to Gilbert, but Gilbert Burns is a fucking dog who, when healthy, nearly beat Kamaru. Like Kamaru, I actually think he got closer to beating Kamaru because he dropped him. Remember? So you can't, you can even just compare their fights with Gilbert Burns. So I think Khamzat Chimaev is going to finish him. I just think Kamaru, he's coming in here 11 days notice. He's the smaller guy. He's the older guy. And he's looked worse and worse and worse every fight. So it's just like, I don't think that's going to change taking on a younger guy up a weight class on 11 days notice. So, yeah, I've got Khamzat Chimaev. But like you said, Kamaru could catch him. That's within the realm of possibility as well. So
especially with the people he's bringing in, that's looking like the kind of game plan they want.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But anyways, man, I guess we should have to go one down, I guess. This fight doesn't have any title implications, but it's a fight I've wanted to see. Finally, Magomed Ankalaev is back almost a year late, damn near a year later after his draw with Jan Blachowicz. He will take on Johnny Walker, the rising Johnny Walker, 31 years young, riding a 3-fight winning streak. House invaded Anthony Smith last time out, and he should look to make it 4 in a row.
You're hurting my family.
I haven't hurt anybody's family.
What? that reaction video is godlike.
What? Anyways, man, what do you think about this one?
No, I mean, I'm excited, right? We've been wanting to see Magomed Ankalaev for a while. I mean, we thought there was a fair bit of people who thought he deserved a title shot. He's one of the best guys in this division, a very interesting guy. Only official loss to Paul Craig. Also, he had the draw against Jan Blachowicz, which at the time I thought Jan won. A lot of people thought Magomed won too, but that's besides the point. I mean, dude, I expect to just come out here. I mean, he just has to grab him, take him down, and he gets the win. But at the same time, though, we've seen a new Johnny Walker, kind of revived a bit, kind of revitalized a little bit more calculated. Johnny Walker has a lot of potential to still get a finish here and be exciting at the same time. But he's also been tagged a fair bit throughout his career. And if Magomed Ankalaev gets him good, I think he can put him out of there and not even have to go to distance. So I'm going Magomed Ankalaev, but there's still some danger with Johnny Walker. So we can't look over Johnny Walker on this one either.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm going to go ahead and take Magomed Ankalaev here. I just think if he fights with a good game plan and he uses his head, I don't think this should be very close. I think his skill level, Magomed Ankalaev's skill level, just pure skill level, doesn't always show it, is substantially higher than a guy like Johnny Walker. And on the night of, maybe he'll fuck around and find out, but I think he's going to come in here and get a statement win. As a Magomed Ankalaev fan who knows how good he is, that's what I'm hoping for. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. I'm going to go take Magomed Ankalaev. I would not be surprised if Johnny Walker won, though. I mean, I'd be surprised, but there's a realm of possibility. This fight, I would be very surprised if it went any other way. Ikram Aleksakirov, who we've hyped up before, knocked out Dillon Danis' teammate Phil Hawes in his UFC debut back in May. And he's coming back, massive prospect, who is 14-1, I believe. Only loss was to Khamzat Chimaev back in 2019 on the regional scene, taking on the long, durable veteran Warlley Alves, 14-6, riding a 2-fight losing streak. But hey, he's beaten some really good names. He stopped Mornier Lazez's hype train whenever he first came to the UFC. So he's shown that ability, man. He beat Colby Covington. He's beaten Al Jaban. Very much a durable guy, a gatekeeper of sorts. So, Angel, do you think that Ikram Aleksakirov will be able to get through Warlley Alves?
I mean, do I think the former 3 or 4-time, Sambo champion's going to get it done again, Josh? I mean, is that question rhetorical?
Pretty much, yeah. I think
Ikram Aleksakirov is definitely going to get done. Warlley Alves coming up a weight class for this one, meaning he's probably not going to cut anyway. He's just going to show up. Riding a 2-fight losing streak. I mean, Ikram Aleksakirov kind of getting, I'm not going to say a layup, but getting a kind of a nice matchup here. Kind of sad, though, because you can't deny, Josh, weren't you excited for that Nazarene-Imavov fight? I mean, I felt like that was going to be a banger. It was going to test him. It was going to test Nazarene. It was going to get him into the rankings. Now he has to take on Warlley Alves, which, no disrespect to the former Ultimate Fighter Brazil Season 3 or Season 4 winner. but it's not the same.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this fight's kind of the tune-up. It's an opportunity. Yeah.
You have to. We got to give credit though. Second fight in the UFC and already on a main card pay-per-view again. I wouldn't say again, but he was on a pay-per-view last time too, I believe, right?
Yeah. I mean, you got to give credit. They know that this kid's really, really good, and him and Hamzat are going to rematch someday. I mean, yeah. But I think he's going to get the win here. I think it's kind of just a formality, you know. But opening up the main card, this is another fight that I honestly think is. I will say that like the prelims has a couple of good fights, and the main card I like some of these too. But we're coming here for the top two fights, and this main card opener just kind of shows that as well. Saeed Nurmagomedov down at bantamweight, 17-3, coming off a loss to the formerly mentioned Jonathan Martinez, taking on Moeen Gafuvov, 18-5, former one championship veteran, suffered a loss in his UFC debut to John Castana back in June, and he will now look to upset Saeed Nurmagomedov, another former Contender Series guy. Lost to your boy Chad and Gallagher on there. So, what do you think? What do you think about this one, man?
No, I'm excited, man. Saeed, obviously, a guy that's been mentioned in the 135 weight class multiple times. Moon Gafurov, obviously, like you said there, formerly in one. I think he made his professional debut like 18 or 19 in one, so got to give a lot of respect there. His, I think, dad, president of the Sambo Federation in his home country. Originally, I guess he was having dreams of becoming a pro soccer player. I think whoever it was who runs the federation, his family said, nah, fuck that, try this Sambo shit, and next thing you know, he's here on a UFC pay-per-view main card. Look, he's good. He has skills. He's younger, I believe. But I think Saeed's going to get it done. I think Moen Gafurov leaves himself open at times for... He leaves openings for his opponent, and I think a guy like Saeed Nurmagomedov can capitalize on that and potentially get him out of there. If not, go to distance and finish the fight. At the same time, though, Saeed has put himself in these decision fights that are maybe should have gone his way, maybe should have gone the other way. And those are only his three. He's only ever lost by decision ever in his career, just so you know.
Yeah, no, I mean he's got that dog in him. I will say that I think this fight's kind of it's another not mere formality is too harsh for this fight. I mean I think that the Ikram fight is going to be way more of a mere formality than anything else. But yeah, I think there's another clear favorite here. I think it's going to be Saeed Nurmagomedov picking up the win, man.
We got to get credit though. Gafurov was 2-time Sambo world champion.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying I think he'll compete. I will think he compete, but yeah, I don't think it's going to be very. I mean, I'm expecting him to go out and get the win. But I mean, dude, in terms of the rest of the card, Tim Elliott, Muhammad Makhachev on the prelims, a couple other big fights. Which ones do you most want to talk about?
Man, dude, I'm excited for him. Muhammad Makhachev getting a big name at 125 finally. It took a little bit. He's been asking for it, and I mean, from here, Josh, is this going to pick up pretty quick? Because if he does get a win over a vet in Tim Elliott, former title challenger, gave Demetrius Johnson a pretty tough fight in his title bout. I mean, Muhammad Makhachev will be right there for those big time fights, man, in a division that I think is relatively open. Because at that moment, as far as like guys who could be getting this title, it's only guys like Brandon Royval, guys like Amir Albazi, Brandon Moreno in a potential rematch at some point. But they need a new name, and Muhammad Makhachev is potentially that new name.
Yeah. I mean, look, Muhammad Makhachev is the real deal. We've hyped him up, I want to say, since before his debut. I mean, I know that you had your eye on him, like, very early on. And, like, this guy is, like, literally right around our age, dude. He's 23 years young, the Punisher. We know how good he is. This is by far the biggest test of his career. He called for this fight, too. Am I crazy to say that this is, like, probably my third most look forward to fight of the night?
No, he's, in my opinion, one of the best prospects to ever come into an MMA ever. What he did as an AMI, fighting so much, being as active as he was, being undefeated, riding like a 30-plus, win streak. I mean, you have to give credit where credit is due, because no matter what, at the end of the day, he's putting himself in the line of fire and putting himself out there to potentially win and or lose.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, Look, I will go ahead and I'll say, man, I think it's such a good fight. It's such a good fight. I mean, Tim Elliott too, riding up, I believe like a 2 or 3 fight winning streak. I don't remember off the top of my head right now, but he has looked very good recently. He's brought it back. Dropped that bitch of a wife and Kevin Croom too. So
damn, yeah, I did not see that coming.
I mean, we gotta shout out our boy. I mean, I can't support that type of stuff.
I might have to like drive into Kansas City, dude, and start yelling for Tim Elliott's name in the street to buy him a fucking beer, dude.
For real, dude.
By the way, I don't know if you know this. Do you know Tim Elliott in his diet, whenever he's cutting weight, he has a beer every weight camp, like every during his weight cut, every morning. I think it's at like the final days. I don't know if you know this because whenever he got to you know, he was in the UFC and he got kind of dialing stuff in when he came into his training camp, and he works with a nutritionist. He told him, I need I don't know if he drinks like he drinks a beer. I don't know what beer it is, but he drinks something, and he says, I need that. And at first I was like, dude, come on, just during the week. He was no, I'm gonna drink it no matter what. So I need you to figure out a way to get it in. And he has a beer no matter what. I think like every morning still during his fight camp. So just fun little fact for everybody there about Tim Elliott. So just a tiny little thing I want to mention in there, but you know, might have to find him out there and offer him a drink sometime.
Yeah, man. I mean, I would love to do that. I fucking love Tim Elliott, dude. Just the most game guy, and then game as fuck the whole time too, man. I mean, he's every time, no matter what. First UFC stint too, man. Like. And he came back thanks to that Ultimate Fighter season. Like, if it weren't for that championship season, which was pretty fucking sick, the last really good Ultimate Fighter season, in my opinion, then, you know, man, I love Mr. Tilla. That's it.
You just game as fuck, dude. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, we'll buy him a beer one day. We'll find him, and then we'll go and mug Kevin Croom. But anyways, I mean,
with Tim Elliott in the lead. Exactly.
We're gonna fall behind him. It's just. I'm not gonna be the one. I mean, I'm a foot taller than Kevin Croom. No, I'm fucking around, but we're a foot taller than both these guys. I mean, actually, I guess Kevin Croom is more like a featherweight, so he's actually not that.
I think
tall.
me and Tim Elliott
like
enough.
Kevin Croom is actually probably like around my height. Yeah, we are like a foot taller than Tim Elliott.
No, I'm the same height as Tim Elliott.
5'4".
It says Tim Elliott's 5'7" on Tapology. I've been lied to.
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough. And by the way, Kevin Croom is 5'10", so you know. About the same height there, so we'll be having fun. Anyways, in terms of the rest of the card, man, I mean, obviously we got a couple of good names, man. Bruno Silva coming back against Sharbut. I'm probably gonna fuck up his name. Sharbutuin Magomedov. This
fight's gone a little bit under the radar, by the way. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, this kid's very hyped up. He's 17-0, kind of a piece of shit. So interesting decision to sign him, but
And by the way, he can't see from one eye. That's another thing we got to mention.
He can't.
No, You didn't know that? That other eye is completely, I think either it doesn't have a lot of vision or he doesn't have full vision out of that eye.
I thought it was a Bisping situation where he had some vision. I didn't know these straight up.
One of the two. Regardless, he's still impaired from one eye.
Interesting. Yeah, well, he is 11-0 and has not slowed in this far.
And has finished pretty much everybody, by the way.
That is true. And a couple of those opponents do have good records, so he's not just squashing guys either, so,
Have you seen that like fight of him in Thailand, dude? He just knees this like poor guy in the face who probably shouldn't be fighting him.
I have not seen that.
Dude,
I mean, I've seen if it's on his highlight reel.
It's brutal, dude. I was like, God damn.
Yeah. Anyways, man. Yeah, I mean, this card's fine. I mean, which fights was going to highlight before we go ahead and move on to news?
Man, dude, Abu Zaitar back against Cedric Dumbas. It's been a minute. Was that our boy in last time in Abu Dhabi during COVID who got kicked out, or is that someone else?
That's his brother, I think.
That was his brother? Regardless, another fun fight there. And, dude, I think potential fight of the night here. Havid Basharat versus Victor Henry. If that does not scream banger, I don't know what does. I'm excited to see that one. Nathaniel Wood coming back from injury against Mohamed Nomayev. And that should be another interesting one. But there's a lot of banger potential for this fight card. I have high expectations, Josh. And I mean high expectations for this pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough, man. Same page, too. I mean, I think that some of these names are not really big names, but some of these fights, the Victor Henry fight, can't believe I forgot to fucking acknowledge that one. Victor Henry fucking comes to bang, dude. So that's going to be an absolute incredible fight. I'm very sorry for that one. Like you said, not a whole lot of star power, I feel like, but it's the type of guys that are on the prelims that are going to make it a lot of fun. And like we should say again, very early. It's going on very early. I don't know the exact time the prelims start, but the main card starts around 1 p.m. Central Time, dude. Prelims are going to be early as well, so.
Like 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Time.
So those of you guys, those in the U.S. should be aware,
And I mean, if you're on the West Coast, you're chill. Well, no, if you're on the East Coast, you're chilling. My bad.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah. But anyways, man, I think it's about time we go ahead and move on to news. This is quite a lengthy show, so thanks guys for sticking around. I forgot to mention this, so it ended up staying for the news section. Jake Paul has announced that he will return to the boxing ring on December 15th. This will be broadcast live on DAZN, not pay-per-view, and it also appears to be a part of his MVP prospect series. His opponent has not been named, but more than likely it's gonna be a guy who's not a big challenge. It's not gonna be KSI. It's not gonna be Tommy Fury. I thought somebody said Jorge Masvidal. He's still with the UFC. It's not gonna be him. Really, there's no big name attached to him. The only guy that we've heard recently has been Matt Riddle was attached to him like a week ago. But even then, those were very early preliminary talks. What do you think about Jake Paul, man? Who do you think he may fight on in December?
I mean, I threw names out there like Darren Till and Mike Perry, but like after we spoke about this privately and found out that it's going to be free, well not free, but with your DAZN subscription, you won't have to pay for it pay-per-view. It'll probably be someone who'll probably get out of there pretty quick, and especially since it'll also be highlighting, the undercard will be highlighting a lot of Jake's guys who are under the MVP kind of banner as well. So I really have no idea. So it's going to be someone we probably don't see coming, I would expect. Like I said, you threw out Matt Riddle right there. So maybe that, potentially that. I don't know, but I don't know what other options you could have. Gib rematch? Question mark?
A Gib rematch could be interesting. Dejiger rematch?
Dude, not even gonna lie. You saw Tyson Fury give my boy Deji some respect.
I saw that too. Because a lot of people, basically everybody's like, yeah, Deji can actually box. It's just if he's actually like, he's not like he doesn't have the physical capabilities really, because he's a smaller guy, and also he didn't really take it seriously. But like now that he's working on it, like I feel like a lot of people have respect for him.
Dude, I mean, there were some pretty legendary moments that came out of that KSI card too that we didn't talk about like that. Like Tyson really giving him some props, kind of not being in character, by the way, which is it was so odd seeing that. It's like, dang, you're pretty fucking cool when you're not like all hyped up, Mm-hmm. Telling a fight. Like I don't know if you saw that, but he was like, it was very wholesome, to see that. And he's like, the exact quote I had before that. He's like, I've seen your fight. I was impressed with you. You fought Floyd Mayweather. I saw that. And also on top of that, Josh, that screen cap of JJ getting his hands wrapped and Tyson being in there with just his hat and leather jacket on, watching him get to it. Like, dude, what the fuck? What a trip.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a trip, man. I mean, Jake Paul, did you actually see Jake Paul and Deji arguing on a pre-fight panel? Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and Jake said, like, this is why I didn't want to come here, because I didn't want to have to deal with you guys trying to get clout off of my name, But and he wasn't entirely wrong, because it was Deji trying to start the argument, trying to start some beef,
Hey man, you gotta work.
But I respect it though, because he might get it, I mean, Jake Paul's not doing anything right now.
Right.
So, I mean, we will see if who Jake Paul decides to fight. Like you said, the only real names, it's been basically Nate has, but even then there's not really been talk of Nate, Yeah, man. I mean,
there's really no names attached to him outside of the Matt Riddle one, which is weird.
Which is very weird, exactly. So, I don't know. Matt Riddle looks to be in great shape, so that's good.
When is he not though, right?
Yeah, I just saw him upload something to Twitter recently. He looks in great shape. I mean, if they give it to him, I'll watch it. I mean, this isn't gonna be a DAZN pay-per-view. If it's not gonna be on pay-per-view, so I probably won't judge whoever they give him.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, man, yeah, we will see what happens. Interested to see who Jake Paul fights. Will probably be announced by next week if I had to guess. This is a quick update to a story that we talked about last week. The UFC now has a new drug testing partner. As we know, they dropped USADA. They have partnered with a drug-free sport. Not a whole lot to say about this one. But but they have partnered with Drug Free Sport and Angel. They're going to be having George Pirro lead the drug testing division now. If the name George Pirro doesn't stick out to you, he was one of the lead interrogators of Saddam Hussein. So apparently the UFC is just not fucking around.
You're not wrong, right?
Fucking John, tell it. They're going fucking waterboarding John Jones backstage. Tell us the picograms. Where did they come from? Fucking. No, but what do you think about this, man? The TRT era is not back, unfortunately.
But are they working with a company, or what is it exactly? Because he's leading
the company is called Drug Free Sports, and they work with the NFL and the NCAA.
I mean, they don't fuck around with college doping, so this should be interesting.
Yeah, I will say that from watching a lot of college football, there's some freaks, bro. So
really? Because I know, because they've dropped a ban hammer though when they catch people in college sports. I know that. Mm. But I mean, he did throw the NFL in there, so.
Yeah, we did. I mean, well, hey, the NFL has some fucking freaks too. They're not really doing real drug testing, so we might as well be back in the TRT era. As somebody who's watched a lot of NFL football,
like Joe Rogan says, they do a fucking sniff test in the NFL.
In the NFL, it's a sniff test. In the NFL, it's an intelligence test. Like, literally. As long as you're not taking anything too crazy, they'll probably be fine.
Like, you're not on trend, right? Okay, you're good. You can go out there.
They catch some guys in the NFL, but it's like guys like fucking, how did you get caught, bro? Like
fucking third string guys.
Yeah.
What was the last major guy caught in the NFL for something like that? Do you know?
DeAndre Hopkins.
Really?
Hopkins failed a drug test last year, and he's one of the. I don't know if you can call him one of the best wide receivers in the league right now because he hasn't really done shit in the last 2 years. But
damn.
No, it's just true. I don't know what. Today, bro. No, I don't know what he tested positive for, but he got suspended 6 games for violating the PED policy.
I remember seeing that on Twitter. Now that you mention it.
Yeah, they never said what he tested positive for, but he's the only guy I can think of. If Aaron Donald and DK Metcalf are passing fucking drug tests, then. Then I think the UFC guys will be fine. But yeah, I don't have too much to add to this. It is unfortunate that they're having drug testing, but the drug testing they're bringing in is, I'd say, worse than USADA.
Well, I guess we'll have to see what happens. What if they come in, they catch 8 guys? Wouldn't that be crazy?
That would be crazy. Well, they came in. USADA did the whole thing where they smash and grab, caught a bunch of guys in the first 2 years and then nobody ever again. So. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I think we should go ahead and move on, man. Just a couple more things to hit before we're going to bounce out of here, man. Israel Adesanya, who we have not seen since his loss to Sean Strickland last month. He's been very, very quiet. There was talk of an immediate rematch. That will not be happening. Israel Adesanya has announced his plans to take off a lot of time. He did not say exactly how much, but he did say that he's going to go and take a long hiatus. He is not retired, but he is done for now. He's one of the most active guys in the UFC. We are very well aware of that. What do you think about his decision announcing that he's going to take time off? And John Jones has already come forward and said, that's probably for the best. And even Connor, some OGs of the game, are you deserve it,
Dude, it's not even just UFC. We're talking about ever since he started competing back in 2011. Yeah. He has been a very active guy since then. It's been nonstop training camp, weight cut, media, everything for over a decade now for him, to be honest. Constant attention, constant pressure, constant everything, watching your diet, listening to coaches, learning, just being around that kind of energy every day, dude. You can blame him for taking an extra few months off. And let's be honest, dude, what Israel Adesanya means by time off is not a year, probably 6 months, right? Or maybe more, maybe 9-10 months out of, but even then, we'll see him by late next year. I keep saying Nate. Late next year. And, what's wrong with that, man? Good for him. He deserves it. Like DC said, the champ deserves a rest, man. He's been competing, been so active, been the headline, been one of the major faces in the sport. It's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with taking a step back and resetting and wanting to take a breather. I think it's healthy. It's personally what I'm doing right now in my own personal life, so I can't judge him for it, if I'm doing it myself.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can't. I'm not judging him at all. I just think it's interesting. Very happy that he's doing it. He needs to. I thought he looked. Because I really do think that he can beat a guy like Sean Strickland. He was just, off, man. So yeah. I think maybe some time off would be huge for him. Come back refreshed. I don't know how long he will. Like you said, like maybe 8 months. We'll see. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, interesting that he is deciding to take time off. And whenever he comes back, it's going to be a big fucking deal. Maybe it will be UFC 300 in a non-title fight. Who knows?
Dricus du Plessis.
Yeah.
You never know.
That would make a lot of sense, dude. But especially considering that would happen until, I want to say, May. So it's, 6 months off, a bit over 7 months off. Who knows? Maybe that's not enough for him, but we'll see. This story flew under the radar. I'm not surprised because, a lot of companies, a lot of journalists who like to talk about covering fighter pay and stuff, they never actually really cover it whenever anything actually happens, which is the main issue. I feel like one of the bigger issues of MMA and the media system that, the media ecosystem, I guess, that works here. But dude, you gotta give credit when it's due. I know a lot of people fucking hate Ronda Rousey, dude. But we talked about this earlier this year. Ronda Rousey helped lead a bill through the California state legislature, which has now been signed into law, which will guarantee MMA fighters a pension in the state of California if they fought, I believe, 30 rounds in the state.
Oh, wow.
So if you fought 30 rounds in California, I think it maybe even be like 29 exactly. But if you fought in the state of California after the age of 50, you will be eligible for a pension. And that's largely thanks to Ronda Rousey and others who helped push the bill forward. I know Kat Zingano also spoke in favor of the bill, partially due to the urging of Rousey, who got her involved. Uriah Faber is another name who also went ahead and was heavily involved with this. Full props to them. And payments will start, like I said, when the athletes turn 50, with money being generated from a percentage of ticket sales. So that has officially been signed into law over in California. The first state to kind of take a step forward on treating MMA fighters like they're actually human beings. What do you think about this, Angel? Very much a big, and obviously combined with all the stuff with the lawsuits and all that stuff. What do you think, man?
That's awesome, man. It's cool to see people like these fighters kind of putting that effort out there and doing this not for now but for the future. Exactly.
Yeah. Very, very happy about this, man. And like I said, dude, a lot of people shit on Ronda Rousey. And even she did one interview about this, and that was basically it. But I personally know that she was heavily involved in this process in terms of getting out there, getting certain fighters involved. So you've got to give her credit where it's due. And I'm very happy that the state of California moved forward with this. And this combined with the lawsuit, combined with potentially Senator Markwayne Mullin from Oklahoma bringing in the Muhammad Ali Expansion Act to MMA, are what's going to be, keeping these fighters safe in the long run and actually making sure they're getting paid their just worth, And that's why the UFC, we talk about, I'm not going to dive into the whole thing, but that's why the UFC every year, they're bringing fighter pay down and down and down more and more and more. Because they know, guys like Dana, they're aware of the writing on the wall, like they're about aware of their cash out time, okay? They're doing the fucking, Angel, they're fucking betting right now. They see the legs that are coming up on the parlay. They're not confident, So that's why they're keep on getting more and more and more money because they want to be able to fight this stuff in court, man. So, in regards to this one, there's nothing they can do though. So shout out to the state of California. Always been, in my opinion, the greatest state for MMA, that or Kansas. In terms of
shout out Kansas.
Well, because Kansas is willing to experiment with the rule set. We're not really doing anything on the pension front because admittedly no major events come here.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're doing a great thing in terms of being willing to change the rules and so on and so forth. California is the greatest on fighter safety for the most part. There's not a hard and fast rule, but that's for the most part. Speaking of fighter safety, Angel, this is our last topic of the day, baby. Last topic of the day. We kept up with the story a little bit. Pat Miletich, who, 55-year-old Pat Miletich, came out of retirement over the weekend to face former CM Punk opponent Mike Jackson. And apparently he was winning the fight, knocked Jackson down to round 1. Round 2 was more competitive. Apparently round 2, Mike rocked him in the final seconds, and Pat Miletich quits on the stool. Mike Jackson's resume now reads CM Punk, Dean Barry, Pat Miletich.
What a fucking career, right?
Hell of a way to make money if you can get it, man. Fighting 55-year-old Pat Miletich in Davenport, Iowa. I know that you have not seen any of this fight. I've seen about 30 seconds of this fight, which makes us very qualified to speak about it. So,
I try to find it, man. I legitimately put good effort into trying to find it.
Yeah, and we're not going to pay, no offense to these guys, but we are not paying the pay-per-view price. We are not spending $50 on this.
It was $50 to watch it?
Yes, I thought it was $20. I was wrong. It was $50 on pay-per-view, $49.99.
Dude, that should be a fucking crime.
I know. I think that
people were mad to pay for fucking Misfits, but damn, dude, no one should ever pay for that.
Yeah, Jesus, dude, just fucking Christ. Yeah, man, from what I saw, the fight looked like Pat was whooping his ass, but they didn't show any highlights of the round two, which I guess it was like competitive in round two, and that's whenever but whatever. Yeah, just pure hilarity. Angel,
Pat Miletich realized he was too old for this shit afterwards, right?
Yeah, I mean, somebody said Pat Miletich had alcohol sweats. Like, he was sweating before the fight started, bro. Like,
he might have drove drunk to the arena, dude. He might have got a DUI on the way there.
He might have, but he ran out of gas. He ran out of gas in the third round. Same as he ran out of the gas when he tried to storm the Capitol, He got up to the front steps. He was just like, I can't do it,
Jesus.
It's just pure hilarity, dude. This was the shit show of freak show fights. This entire weekend really was, dude. I mean, between the Misfits and this fight, I mean,
that might have been the best freak show fight of the weekend, then.
Dude, like fucking Mike Jackson's resume years from now, fucking, we're living it. But imagine like 20 years from now being like, who the fuck? This guy fought a UFC champion and CM Punk.
Dude, a WWE champ too, right? What are you talking about, dude? Come on, you gotta throw that in there.
Yeah, you're right. Mike Jackson has now defeated a former WWE champion and a former UFC champion.
What titles has CM Punk held? That's the better question.
Why isn't Jake Paul called out Mike Jackson yet? Is my question. Anyways, that's all I got. That's all we got. We're fucking. That's all we got. That's all we've talked about worthwhile fights, and now we're talking about this. Anything you want to tell the people, man? We just hit 500,000 YouTube views. Anything you want to tell the people?
Always grateful, man. Always blessed. Always want to bring out better and bigger content. Excited for this next year. I'm already talking like it's the end of the year, but obviously excited for the next few months leading into next year and kind of what we can do. And obviously big fights and big results coming up here in the next few months, because the end of the year is going to go crazy as fuck like it always does, man. And it's starting this weekend, and then next weekend it's going to be crazy. These 3 weeks are going to be insane. So they're going to be some banger ass shows.
Yeah, it's going to be, dude. I mean, October's the biggest month for combat sports. Might be this year total. I mean, if we're just looking at the pure lineup, dude. I mean, this or March, if I had to say. And
boxing, bro. We still got boxing coming up, too. We got some big matchups on the way, too. Return of Ryan Garcia, return of Devin Haney, Regis Prograis there. Obviously, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua. Rumors came out. Potentially they're talking. There's works. It's been delayed, apparently, till August or something like that. So
that's just not going to happen.
Maybe not, but hey, man, worth putting out there, just bringing it up. Regardless, though, hyped as fuck.
For sure, man. Very, very hyped. But that's all we got, man. I am at Josh Evanoff on Twitter. He's at Angel Ortega _01. I Courtside Sound for all things related to the show. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace and butt grease. Mouse click.